and travel to come in this half hour of the programme. In the meantime, though, let's talk about travel in another context, though, here on BBC Radio Cornwall, because it's a big day today at Newquay Airport, a new day and a new destination, because passengers will be able to fly right into the heart of London for the first time from today. Air Southwest is launching a new twice-daily service from Newquay Airport via Plymouth to London City Airport. Well, our reporter Tom Butt is on a whirlwind day out. He's in the departure lounge at Newquay Airport at the moment and will be in London just as David White starts his programme. Tom, what's the atmosphere like there this morning?
Well, it's actually quite subdued, as you probably expect. Obviously, someone's going to short out with me now, tell me an announcement about the flight I'm going to be on. But I'm in a very subdued sort of Newquay Airport departure lounge at the moment. People sort of feeling the hangover of the Easter holidays, and the weekend has really probably taken its toll on the people sat in this departure lounge this morning. I'm here because I'm getting on this Air Southwest flight from here, Newquay Airport, flying into the city centre of London, to London City Airport. It's the first time you'll be able to do this from this airport. Air Southwest are providing the flight. There's not just us that are getting on this flight there this morning. There's also people here flying to Gatwick. There's people flying to Newcastle, and there's other flights taking place this morning from Newquay Airport. So quite busy, but as I say, quite a mellow atmosphere. It's a real Monday morning feel. Now, as I say, the reason why I'm here is because we're flying from here into London City. We're taking the flight time. It leaves here at 7:15? Just going to look at my thing. It's about 7:20. We're getting on the flight. It takes off about 10 minutes later. I'll be in London by about 9:15, and that's actually with a stop off at Plymouth Airport. We're going to pick up our friends in Devon, and we're going to take back off again and head into London. And we'll be there by about 9:15. You could be your meeting for 10 o'clock. That's the idea. Now, someone trying it out with me this morning is Jonathan Fielding, who's the general manager of Myler Yacht Harbour. Morning, Jonathan. Thank you. It's the first time, obviously, you've taken this flight. It's the first time it's going on. What appealed you to it?
Well, the ideal thing is it gets us straight into the centre of town in a very, very short period of time. And historically, we've used the Gatwick flight. Gatwick connects into Victoria as the Gatwick Express, but this takes us straight from London City on the DLR in, I believe, about 15-20 minutes.
Ideal, isn't it? Have you got an appointment to be there at a certain time?
I do. I've got an 11:30 this morning, and I'm sitting down talking about a specification for a yacht refit, and further details to follow.
You should make it easy then, shouldn't you, in theory? Now, what are the problems? I mean, you fly quite often. I mean, in terms of flying, I suppose the issue was when I was driving here this morning, very heavy mist around this part of Cornwall. And if that continued throughout the morning, the flights like on these Dash 8s which fly from here to London, they have trouble in that sort of weather condition. So do you fear that maybe sort of it's not as convenient as you hope?
No, quite the contrary. In fact, there's over the 3 years that I've been flying with Air Southwest, I've only ever had one flight cancelled with Air Southwest, and that wasn't from Newquay, that was coming from Manchester. So no, it's been absolutely ideal service.
It is allegedly grim up north, I can say that. Now, the other options, obviously, is you fly to Gatwick, as you were saying, you can do, but then you've got to make the connections. But also the train is the other alternative. Does that not tempt you at all?
The train is quite a romantic ideal, but not very practical from our perspective. The ideal thing about flying is that the early morning flight and the last flight in the evening, either to Gatwick or London City, gets us up country, day's work, and back again, all in the same day.
I mean, this isn't a massive turnaround. As we've been saying, we have been flying to Gatwick from Newquay for a long time. We also used to have a flight to Stansted, so London's always sort of been easy to reach for us. This is just a new dimension to it. I mean, but do you think this will have any implications on business in Cornwall? Will it help it at all? Oh,
very much so, yeah. It's being ideally situated in Docklands. It's got access direct to the city, Canary Wharf and the financial district. And in spite of the hard times, there's still some very good customers up there, and particularly of ours, and they're required to be serviced. It's so much easier now. We can get right to their doorstep.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Jonathan Fielding there, the General Manager of Myler Yacht Harbour, one of the people who are joining me. They're very fortunate to be joining me on this first flight from Newquay Airport, and it's just flying into London City. As Jonathan was saying, it's right by the Docklands, if you know that area of London, just sort of central in the sort of central business district. Ideal, they say, for the business commuter. But will it be? I'll wait and find out when I arrive there at 9:40, and then coming straight back, unfortunately.
Tom, thank you for that. How are you on the plane, by the way? Are you all right, or are you a nervous flyer?
I know, I think I'm all right, yes. I think as a child I used to scream and cry quite a lot with the loud noises, but I'm hoping as a grown man I've got over that now.
Let's hope you don't regress to your childhood when you take off. We may even hear you from this distance. Tom, thank you for that. Have a great flight.
Thank you.
And there the announcement, just as Tom prepares to board, about 5 minutes then before he's due to actually be called to the gate to go out to the plane. Well, let's talk now to Peter Davis, who's the Managing Director of Air Southwest. Peter, morning to you.
Good morning, James.
Very well, thank you very much. This must be a bit of a proud moment for you and the company.
Oh, absolutely. I think any airline that launches a new route is always a telling day and a significant day in the history of the company.
Where's the demand come for this?
I think it's both. Specifically out of Newquay, there's an awful lot of business people who either have businesses in that area who wish to commute to London, or indeed the other way around, and of course the leisure passenger. In fact, I was down in Padstow over the Easter break and talking to quite a few people from a holiday perspective, and they were delighted that they were able to get to London that quickly.
So do you think it'll cater not just to the business community, but to people coming for leisure breaks and going back to London for leisure reasons?
Absolutely. I mean, we did it specifically because it's the fastest way to get into the centre of London. But clearly there's always market opportunities, and Newquay and North Cornwall and the rest of Cornwall is an important leisure destination, and certainly a lot of people, particularly in London and the South East, have said, well, wow, this is a fantastic opportunity for us to get down and have either a long or indeed a very short break. So I think we're trying to cater for as many people as possible.
Wouldn't it have been more appropriate or more comfortable for a lot of people leaving Cornwall not to have that stop off in Plymouth?
I agree. If we could fly direct to London City, then we would like to, and perhaps one day that may well happen. But the reason why we're connecting Plymouth is that out of Plymouth is also important, because we can leave here at about 8:15, or 8:10, be in London City by 9:15, which for the business traveller, specifically those who have been used to the train, having to get up at 5:30, 4:15, 4:45 to get the early train, this is a significant benefit. So we're trying to cater for two markets at the same time. And it's only a short hop, and it's a glorious, glorious trip. Have you never done it?
I haven't, no.
Ah, you must.
Right.
You fly at 4,000 feet, 20 minutes, fantastic.
It's barely time to get the trolley out. In fact, I don't think you do get the trolley out, do you?
We don't, not for a short trip. No.
Oh, no, I only go on for the trolley.
No, look at the views, it's fantastic.
All right. I'll take a packet of crisps with me or something.
All right, great.
In these credit crunch times, though, are passenger numbers holding up? Can Air Southwest actually stay in the sky? I mean, it is tough times at the moment.
It is tough, but no, our passenger numbers are holding up. They're encouraging. Obviously, there are people who are flying less, but there are more people who want to fly simply because, in times of recession, there's a lot of people who don't simply sit down and say, well, blow it, we'll wait for the recession to go away. They actually get up and do something about it. So actually, in many respects, you find a lot more passengers flying. Secondly, I think from a leisure point of view, obviously the Euro being what it is, the glorious weather we've had in the West Country over the last few weeks, there's a lot of people down here. So where we see a downturn from traditional traffic, is picked up by additional opportunities.
And this is also another element that strengthens the presence, if you like, of Newquay Airport in the airport community as well, I imagine.
Yes, clearly Newquay is a relevant and important part of the United Kingdom air network, and I think we're looking forward to a good summer from a leisure point of view, but also, and this flight demonstrates that today, that there is a business responsibility that airlines have to provide, and I think we're meeting that.
And what about the potential for Air Southwest to expand its flight network from Newquay?
I think every company has to look for opportunities to expand. I think we have to do that cautiously and carefully. I think you can run before you can walk, and therefore we've got to be quite careful. But one's obviously optimistic and looking to the future to see what new opportunities there may be.
Would you like to offer continental flights?
I think anything's a possibility. There's a long way to go. I've only been in the company a short while. We're in the middle of a recession, so we have to be careful with what we do, and what we do we have to make sure is going to be successful. So there's a guarded potential that Air Southwest, as any company, needs to expand. It's a question of where we expand to.
Peter Davis from Air Southwest, thank you very much for that. We'll hear from our reporter Tom Butt a little later on here on this morning's programme, and also with Lawrence Reed as well later. So you can hear all about this throughout the day on BBC Radio Cornwall. The time now exactly 7:15.
We have a habit of going back in time in the afternoons here on